Back at it again, and Ben Shapiro recently had a face-off with Eric Chinese spy Swalwell. Oh my goodness, yeah, the guy that allegedly slept with the Chinese spy. Uh, that's just hilarious, man. Oh my goodness, sheesh Louise. But he recently had a little back and forth, to say the least. And let's just say it didn't go in Eric Swalwell's, the Democrats' favor. Not at all. Not by a long shot. And I'm going to show you guys this because it's honestly pretty hilarious, the interaction that they have. Because, boy, does Eric Swalwell fall into a hole, and he just keeps digging. It's honestly baffling that he doesn't change course to climb out of the hole. But like once he's in it and he realizes he's in it, he just continues to dig. It's just Democrat logic, I guess. I don't know, man. This stuff is just crazy. The fact that anybody would go and support this guy, or any Democrat for that matter, is just mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling. Especially when you have alternative media, right? I got it when alternative media wasn't as popular, but now you have a million different sources to go to for alternative news. You got X, obviously, which is huge. I think Elon Musk tweeted out something that to the effect that X is like the #1 social media platform for news or something like that, which is amazing because it's a lot. There's a lot more ability for free speech. I won't say it's totally free speech, but it's the closest thing to it. I mean, you could post just about anything on there, right? Which I think is good because you get to exchange information and ideas, and obviously people get to comment on it. X has its fact checkers, right? To confirm or deny information, and of course the American citizens have the ability to confirm or deny information. I believe that's the way it should go, a free flow of information. But anyway, let's hop into this video clip with Ben Shapiro and Eric Swalwell. Let's dive in.
You probably want less bureaucracy, right?
I do.
I want less bureaucracy. You want more efficiency.
I do.
I want more efficiency. You want taxpayer money spent.
Did y'all catch that? He said, I want less efficiency.
I do.
I want more efficiency. You want taxpayer money spent wisely.
I do. Congrats on becoming a Republican.
Yeah. Yeah. My parents would be proud. Mass deportations, it calls for that. Do you support that part?
I support the deportation of any illegal immigrant who is in the United States who is not of benefit to the generalized American public.
So if they're picking agriculture that puts food on the tables of everyday Americans, they've never committed a crime inside the United States, they didn't come across with documents, should they be deported?
If they have not paid taxes and if their draw on the taxpayer benefits are larger than the contribution they are making to the economy, or if they're involved in criminal activity, they should be deported.
How do we measure that?
Hold on. I want to backtrack just a touch here. Did y'all catch what he said? I'm going to run that back because you might have missed it.
Should they be deported? A crime inside the United States, they didn't come across with documents, should on the tables of agriculture, picking agriculture that puts food on the tables of everyday Americans, they've never committed a crime inside the United States, they didn't come across with documents, should they be deported?
If they have not paid taxes and if they're...
Did you catch what he said? See, first Democrats were saying, hey, if we free the slaves, who's going to do our hard labor? Who's going to pick our cotton? All right. Now Democrats are saying, wait, if we deport all these folks, who's going to pick our agriculture? Who's going to pick our fruit? Did you catch that? I don't even think Eric knew he said it. I caught it though. But I think it's so ingrained in Democrats to like say racist stuff like that. And they've gotten away with it for so long because big bad Republicans are they're all the racists, right? That is just ingrained in their minds. He didn't even realize what he was just saying.
agriculture that puts food on the tables of everyday Americans. They've never committed a crime inside the United States. They didn't come across with documents. Should they be deported?
If they have not paid taxes and if their draw on the taxpayer benefits are larger than the contribution they are making to the economy, or if they're involved in criminal activity, they should be deported.
How do we measure that?
The same way that the IRS measures my income every year. It seems like if the IRS can track down every aspect of every receipt that I've ever submitted, and
So
they can do so for hundreds
pay-
of millions of other Americans, they can do that for illegal immigrants as well, except for the fact that no one knows how many are in the country thanks to this administration.
So you would be cool with creating a system where they could pay those taxes if they wanted to and then stay and work and put food on our table?
It depends on how long it would take for them to pay the taxes, and they would also have to go presumably to the back of the line, although I'm not sure why I'm testifying about immigration policy at this point.
How about banning the abortion pill? That's part of Project 2025. Do you support that part?
I think that that's a state-by-state issue on a personal level. I'm
just
fully
asking you.
Sure, I'm a fully pro-life person, which means that I'm not in favor of the distribution of the abortion pill.
Banning same-sex marriage. What about that part?
I am in favor of traditional marriage between a man and a woman, and I'm perfectly fine with anyone having any sort of voluntary sexual arrangement they seek. That's a different thing from whether the government should attach benefits to that personal relationship.
But you think it's a sin to have same-sex marriage?
I mean, I'm confused. Are you asking me as a religious Jew what I think about biblically?
I'm just asking, is it a sin to be gay?
Is it a sin to be gay? I mean, how long do we have here? 2 minutes? I mean, if the basic idea is that sexual orientation is up for government regulation, I'm not in favor of the government regulating the private consenting sexual activity of adults. That is a different thing, once again, from whether the government ought to engage in actual benefits for particular sexual arrangements that adults make.
But again, just you to me, is it a sin or not?
Did you see what he tried to do to Ben? He wanted Ben to just simply answer the question, and then they were going to twist it later to say that, oh, Republicans want to ban this. And so Ben addressed that first. Like, I don't think the government should be stepping in to regulate any of this, right? But if we're talking about my religious beliefs, then that's something that's totally different. Like, I love the way that he answered the question. And I think all Republicans need to go to the Trump/Ben Shapiro course on how to speak, right? Because we've seen this Trump 2.0. He does not take the bait. Doesn't take the bait. They've tried to bait Trump into saying something like the whole Russia-Ukraine situation. Caitlin Collins tried to bait him into a gotcha moment. And Trump turned it into like a triumphant moment for him. He said, I just want people to stop dying. I want people to stop dying. And then she asked him again, and he just repeated the same line. I want people to stop dying. I want to say she might have asked him a third time, and he just said the same thing. The same thing that these Democrat politicians do every single time. You do the same. We need to do the same thing that they do, because he tried to get him in a gotcha moment, and it didn't work. And I love it. Love it.
From a religious Jewish perspective, orientation is not a sin, but activity is. That's also the same perspective of most major religions, so far as I'm aware.
Okay. And how about cutting Social Security? Do you support that part of 2025?
I'm not sure what Project 2025's position on Social Security is. I'm in favor of the restructuring of Social Security along the lines of privatization and lowering and increasing the retirement age, because you, as well as every other congressperson, knows Social Security is going to go bankrupt, and yet everyone seems to have an interest in lying about it for the next decade and a half until we have to take austerity measures or radically increase inflation or taxes.
And bans against books about slavery. Do you support that part about?
Why would I possibly be in favor of bans about books about slavery? That would be absolutely ridiculous. What I am in favor of is the idea that school libraries should be able to make decisions along the lines of what exactly is appropriate for, say, a seventh grader and whether they ought to be treated to cartoons and genderqueer. That's not quite the same thing.
And just because we found some receipts, you did say, I think homosexual activity is a sin.
Yes, I'm a religious Jew,
I'm
that's
sure
true.
there's a genetic component.
You found me out.
Orientation. But the view of all religious people I know has always been that sexual behavior is something that is up to you. And you said, I may have a desire to sleep with many women, but I do not.
I agree with me. Yes, that's true.
Congratulations on your, I'm sure it's very hard to restrain yourself. Mr. Chairman, I just want to shift to Alvin Bragg. He was supposed to be here this week, and he's not coming. And Hunter Biden was supposed to testify. Now he's not testifying. We were supposed to have votes on articles of impeachment, and we didn't. And again, we're just wondering, you guys write great press releases, but the payoff seems to never come. And so I guess we will keep waiting, and we'll do hearings like this. And finally, Chairman, you cannot yell fire in a crowded theater, and that's a restriction on speech, as you have recognized before, but you can yell theater in a crowded fire, and you all can continue to do that all you want, and we'll just waste the American people's time.
Gentleman's time has expired, and I remind him of the first rule of holes. When you're in one, stop digging.
You see why I wanted to show you this clip? And I wanted to remind him, when you see yourself in a hole, stop digging. Oh, that was hilarious, man. Absolutely hilarious. Wow. Yeah. And, the sad part about it is that was supposed to be like a punchline for Eric Swalwell, and he couldn't even get it right. You saw he had to look down at his notes that, some Democrat strategist put together, and read it back over. And even then he was stumbling over it at the end. Goodness gracious. Wow. Incredible. Failed miserably. And I absolutely love it. Democrat politicians getting absolutely owned in front of everyone. What an embarrassing moment. Anyway, as always, y'all let me know your thoughts, your opinions on this. All right. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.